Okay.
You should like have a sticky note.
I should, yes. So, did I do what? Yeah, I did that earlier. Thank you very much. And exercise 1 here, we're going to skip part A, but let's read that. We have a school trip. A school is taking a field trip with 195 students and 10 adults. How many people is that altogether? 205 people, right? So it might be helpful to jot that down. So we'll just say 205 people. Each bus can hold at most 40 students. Okay? So when you see at most, are you thinking like less than or greater than or equal to? Just say at most. Less than or equal to, right? Because that's like the maximum at most. So wherever you put on a bus has got to be less than or equal to 40, right? Determine the smallest number of buses. I would say the least number of buses would be the correct term there, not smallest, right? Needed for the trip. The guess and check part, I don't care for that business. Let's just go down and see if we can get an equation or an inequality for this. So for the number of buses, they want us to use an N. N for the number of buses. How many people does each bus hold? 40. And how many people do we have to take on this trip?
205.
Okay. So if every bus holds 40 people, okay, what could we write here for an inequality? Well, I want an inequality. You're talking about the solution later on.
And
What? So 40, N's a number of buses, right? And each bus holds 40 people, yeah? So 40 times the number of buses, how many people do we need to take?
205.
Okay, so we need to be able to carry greater than or equal to 205 people, right? Does it make sense if we only have enough buses to carry less than 205?
No.
Right, you with me in that? So it's got to be greater than or equal to 205. All right, anybody have any questions on how to do that? All right, so now we just need to solve this. That's pretty simple. What do? Divide both sides by 40. Do we have to flip the sign here? No, we didn't divide or multiply by a negative, right? And this is one, you get your calculator out, right? Does anybody have their calculator on them?
No.
Well, let's see if we can figure out what that should be then. Somebody push buttons. 205 divided by 40. Give me 3 decimals.
5.125.
5.125. What did N represent again?
The number of buses needed.
Okay. So, but wait, why don't, is the 0.1 is less than 5, why don't we round down to 5?
You can't split people in half.
Yes, you can.
Well, you can, but
Of course you
not
can.
in a
You see the movies all the time.
not in a humane way.
Well, it depends on the person.
Okay.
Could be ethical.
Yeah.
Oh, don't
We
give me
have to round it
a
up
second.
because we're talking about.
Yeah, and this is one of those cases we have to round up, right? So 0.125, that's actually 1/8. You can't take an eighth of a bus, right? Really, unless you take one bus and like hitch a wagon to the back of it. I don't know. That would be.
That'd be fun going down the highway.
Oh, that'd be a hoot. Yeah, 70 miles an hour there. Yeah, little red wagon. So we can't take. Cannot take 0.125 of a bus. So we need how many?
6.
Need 6 buses. All right. We have to take 6 buses. Now we'll probably have some extra seats available, right?
Yeah.
You think? Okay.
Like our friends.
Yeah, sure. All right, exercise 2. They want us to translate each of the following to an inequality. This is do not solve, okay? So part A, when 3 times a number n, so we got an n,
3n.
is increased by 12.
Plus 12.
So 3n plus 12, right? The result is at least 32.
Letters greater.
At least 32,
Less
so it
than.
can't be less than.
Greater than or equal to 32.
greater than or equal to 32. There you go. You guys are catching on to this.
So
Let's look at part B.
12.
Well, they just said don't solve.
Oh,
Yeah.
oops.
You can't be like. Part B, the sum of two consecutive even integers. You know what consecutive means, right?
Like they're in a row.
One right after the other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But wait, it says consecutive even integers. So give me an example. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, right? One even after the other, okay? N, so like if your first even integer is n, the next integer would be n plus 1, right? What would be the next even integer?
N plus 2.
N plus 2. You see where they get that? Right? Okay? So one of the, whatever the first one is n, the next one is n plus 2. And it's the sum of these is at most 8. So let's get an inequality.
N plus 2
So 2
is less than or equal to 8.
Yeah, at most 8, which means it can't be greater than 8, so it's got to be what?
Shouldn't it be 2n plus 2?
It would be when we combine my terms, right? I'm just,
But we're not solving it.
right. So less than or equal to 8. Okay? When you go to solve it, yeah, then you'll combine like terms, right? All right, let's take a look at exercise 3.
N is 3 over the one we just did.
All right. So exercise 3, find all numbers for which 5 less than half the number. You want to let n be the number? So we need 5 less than half. This is one we might have to start out thinking in reverse, right? 5 less than something. What's the something?
We have to put a less
Like, X,
Let's use n because we're using n's.
okay, 5 plus N, 5 minus N.
So n, wait,
Or
1
n
minus
minus
5. Minus 5.
1/2 n minus 5. That's 5 less than n. Don't write it as 5 or half n. Don't write it as 5 minus.
So it's greater than or equal to 7?
Let's look at it. Is at least 7. When it says at least, it means it can't be less than, so you don't write a less than sign, right? Okay? So it has to be greater than or equal to 7.
This really isn't too hard.
Oh,
Our homework's going to be way harder.
Oh,
yeah,
I
I
know.
know, I just know it.
exercise 4. Oh, wait, it did say 5, so that means we have to solve this, right? So to find all the numbers, we have to solve it. So that's simple enough, right? Add 5 to both sides, and we get 1/2 n greater than or equal to 12. Now what?
Divide by 1/2.
Which is the same as multiplying by 2, right? And what do we get?
N,
Is 24.
It is not 24.
N is 6.
Greater than or equal to
Greater than
24.
or equal to 24.
It could be 24 or 25 or
Yeah,
26
that's
or 1,368,412, right? Anything greater than or equal to 24. All right, now on to exercise 4. Find all the numbers such that twice the sum of the stuff. So twice the sum. It's going to be 2 times a thing. What do you think we're going to need to use in here for twice the sum?
Parentheses. And
Yeah.
then put the 2 in front of it.
So whatever the sum is, to double it, we need to put that sum, something plus something in parentheses, right? To double the whole thing, so be thinking ahead.
So 2 parentheses n plus 8.
The number and 8, okay? So here's the number and 8, the sum of. Twice that would be 2, yep, just like that.
Is less than or equal to 4.
At most 4, at most. So it cannot be greater than 4. If it is, it violates the at most part, right?
So,
So less than or equal to 4. You want to distribute?
yeah.
It's just divide by 2. You can.
Okay.
Just divide both sides by 2. You can distribute, whatever. Sometimes you have to, remember?
That's so boring.
So n plus 1
Is greater than 1.
less than or equal to 2, right?
Minus 8. And.
Wait, do we flip the sign? That's a negative 8.
Okay.
Do we flip the sign?
No.
No, because we didn't multiply or
No,
divide
that's
by.
right.
Okay. So n is less than or equal to what?
-6.
-6. We'll make that true. It seems like you're getting a grip on this a little bit.
I mean, I guess we can,
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, and we've also done set up equations for word problems. The only difference here is the at most, at least thing, right? So let's flip it over here, see what we got. All right. Yes, sir. Yeah. May have one of you guys read this, and I might stop you as you're reading. Ennis, read that, will you please?
A stadium is steadily filling up with people. It holds at most 2,500 people.
Okay, hang on there. So there's a stadium and some event going on, right? People are coming into the stadium and they calculated, what rate it's filling up. How many people can it hold?
2,500.
At most. So this tells us right away, we're gonna set something up. Huh? Yeah, it is. I wouldn't even call it a
It's gonna be a
stadium.
less than or equal to.
Like a gymnasium. It'd be less than or equal to, right? Okay, keep going.
Of the 2,500 seats, 350 are reserved for special guests.
Okay, hang on. There's 350 that are already accounted for, right? Does that sound like a starting point or an initial value maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe if we're thinking about mx plus b. Okay, keep going.
When the doors open, people fill the seats at a rate of 10 seats per minute.
A rate of 10 seats per minute. Rate. If you're thinking mx plus b, what part of that is the rate?
M.
M, the slope, rate of change, remember? M, what's that? And the 350 would be what part of mx plus b? The b, the starting point, right? Initial amount, okay? That's a good guess, then. All right, so part A, if M represents a number of minutes that have gone by, so M for minutes, fill out the following chart. Okay, so after 1 minute, how many seats get filled? 10. And how many are already reserved?
350.
So if we add those two, what's the total number of seats spoken for?
360.
Okay, 360. All right, now after 5 minutes,
50.
we've got 50 plus 350 equals 400 seats filled. So just keep filling this out here. 50,
500.
that's 500 more seats, right, altogether after 50 minutes.
850.
So that equals 850. And after 100 minutes, that's 1,000
135.
plus that equals 1,350 seats. Already taken up in the, well, would point it out would be a gymnasium most likely, not an arena, okay? Okay, well, I bet they want us now to write some sort of an expression that calculates the number of seats, okay? All right, in minutes, yeah. So, what's our rate of change?
10 seats.
Right, 10 seats per minute, right? 10 seats. We'll just do it like this, per minute. And do we have an initial value? Or a starting point?
Yeah.
350 seats. So if nobody comes in at all at 0 minutes, there's 350 of it already taken up, right? So what would be our expression?
Wait, what does that say? Like it goes from that and then 350. What does that say?
This
Yeah.
initial earning.
So
So what would be the expression? Plus,
10, and then whatever you want your variable.
yeah, well, not just 10. 10 times what? It's changing, it's 10 seats every, 10 times the number of minutes, right? So it fills at a rate of 10 seats for every minute that goes by, plus the 350 that are already accounted for.
Has to be.
Well, they didn't, we're not at that point yet, they're gonna split it up like they do, okay? So now, we go over to part C, and now they want us to write the inequality. Right?
Okay, 10M plus 35 is less than or equal to 250,
Why not greater than?
Because it says at most.
Right, there's only 2,500 seats in this, right? So 10M,
Plus 330
350,
I just
is
read
less than or equal to 2,500.
less than or equal to 2,500, okay? And they want us to solve this for what? The number of minutes the stadium is filled,
Yeah.
overfilled, right? Okay, so we'll subtract 350 from both sides, right? Just like we always do. And we get 10M is what?
Less than or equal to
Good.
2,150.
Mm-hmm. 2150? Probably not.
And divided by
Come on, it's just. Yeah. Now divide by 10. You don't even need a calculator for this part, do you?
No, it's 215.
So M is, the number of minutes is less than or equal to 215 minutes. Let's put the minutes there. So 215 minutes it takes. Notice that doesn't tell us about the hours, right? They might ask us about hours or something.
I always put my stuff in the middle so that then I have no room at the bottom.
Yeah, that's a problem.
No.
That's why I always tell you guys to start over on the left-hand side, then you can go up to another column. Yeah. All right, at the rate people are entering, will any more people be able to find a seat after 4 hours?
So do 215 divided by
Yeah,
60.
right. Our inequality is in terms of minutes, right? How many minutes in 1 hour, guys?
60.
Okay, so it's 1 hour to 60 minutes, or it could be 60 minutes to 1 hour, right? So why don't we do it like we used to do here? 215 minutes, let's convert it to hours. What do you want to multiply by? Hours over minutes or minutes over hours? Remember?
Minutes over hours.
I want minutes to
Hours
cancel.
over minutes.
Oh, so
Right.
what is that?
So the way I wrote it then, right? 1 hour. And I know you could do this part in your head, right? But I want you to get used to thinking a unit conversion. To 60 minutes, right? And the minute part cancels. Okay, so now it's 215. What do we do with the 60 since it's on the bottom? Multiply or divide? Divide, right? Well, and the 1 on top, multiply by 1. Then, so what do we get? What's 215?
3.5.
I think it's 3.58, isn't it? Double check that.
3.5.
3.58 hours until it's full. Okay? So what's the answer to the question?
No.
Will anybody be able to find a seat after 4 hours? The answer is no, because it'll be a little more than 3.5 hours before it's completely full. All right, Ellen Party, are your letterings all messed up here? Huh?
No.
Okay. 'Cause I think it was all a bunch of C's at one point. But anyway, E. So to cover the cost of the stadium, are they going to charge money for the tickets? Yeah. Labor, overhead, whatever. They have to raise how much money from ticket sales? They need at least $39,000 from ticket sales. How much does each ticket cost?
$25.
$25, okay? All right, so let's do it the unit conversion way, right? So $25 for one ticket, right? Or one ticket over $25. So let's convert our 1,250 tickets, TKS we'll call it. And what do you want to multiply by? $25 over one ticket or one ticket over $25? Because you want tickets to cancel, be left with money, right? So dollars, 25, that goes over one ticket. TK is fine, right? And again, this is one, it's a simple one, you could have done here, just multiply them, right? But if you get used to this method, when they get more complicated, you would do
That's a
multiply or
lot of money
divide.
for one ticket.
It's a very nice,
Depends on what the event is.
it's a Gucci ticket.
I mean, if they're coming to see you talk, it's probably a lot of money, yeah. Way too much money.
No, if,
Anyway, so tickets cancel, right? And what do we do with the 12, 50, and 25?
divide it,
Multiply, the 25 is on top, right? What do you get? Well, where's everyone's calculator?
in my hand.
Everyone's calculator's in your hand?
3125.
It's $31,250. Will they have enough? They need how much?
39.
No, because it's an O. Because 31,250 is less than 39,000.
Let's put 39K. Is that okay?
You know what?
39K. Can I do that?
Sure, yeah, it's acceptable sometimes.
Where do they get the K from?
Kilo, a kilogram, kilometer contains 1,000 things. Like pennies would be cents out of 100th century, right? Okay, last part here. N represents the number of tickets sold. So N is the tickets sold. Right solve of the quadrant represents all values of N that guarantee they cover their ticket sales. So, we need what number? What was it? 39,000. We need to guarantee $39,000, right? Okay. So what would be that inequality? What's the rate of change now? The rate of change before was minutes. And now we're talking about the money they need. So now what's the rate of change? What's changing? For every ticket, what changes? To the organizers. Every ticket they sell. What in their life changes for every ticket they sell? How much is a ticket?
$25.
Okay, so for every ticket they sell, what's the change?
Oh, they gain 25.
They gain $25, right? So that's your rate of change. Is there an initial amount or a starting point?
0.
Yeah, well, zero. In other words, there isn't one, right? Not until they sell their first ticket, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, so what would be the inequality here?
Oh, God.
And they want us to use N again. I would say, let's not do that. Let's use T. How about T for tickets? So what would be our inequality?
900.
Let's start with the ticket side of it.
25T.
25T and $25 for every ticket sold would be what? What do we need? We need at least 39,000. So what?
Greater than or equal to 39.
Greater than or equal to 39,000. We can solve that pretty easily, right? What do we do? We have to flip the sign, anybody?
No.
No. So T, the number of tickets, has to be greater than or equal to what? Push buttons on your calculator to get 1,560 tickets. Okay. Anybody have any questions on these? You have to stop and think sometimes about whether it has to be greater than or less than, right? At most, at least, that kind of stuff, okay? Okay, let's look at some of these Regents questions then. Oh, Lord. 165. Yeah, okay. So what I want to do right now is read this one over, especially the first paragraph on your own. Read it over, okay? And then we'll talk about it. What's the M? The amount that changes every week? Okay, 96, but it's, okay, so it's close, right? So let's do this right off the bat. Let's start out, because it's based on the number of weeks, right? Let's just call that W. Something that makes sense. Is she saving the full $96? Okay, that's key. So 3/4 of the $96. So 96 won't be our actual rate of change. How do we find 3/4 of 96? What did I tell you the word of usually means to do? Multiply, right? So let's find out what that rate of change really is, right? So what do we do? Tell me what the multiply here. So we're doing this part. We'll do it down here. So it's $96. She's saving 3/4 of it.
96 times 3/4.
So 3/4 times $96. So that's 96 times 3 divided by 4. Where's that? Wait, hold on. Everyone else get up and get a calculator. Let's do that now instead of sitting there drooling. So 72 will be our rate of change, okay? All right, so we're using W instead of X, okay? So let's write the inequality. 72 W, what? Wait, Mr. Payne, what? Plus what? We talked a moment ago. You answered the question moments ago.
135.
Plus the stuff. She already has 135. So did we get that? Every week, she's saving $72 of her paycheck, right? Figure that out up here. She started with 135. How much money does she need to have?
Equal to 580.
$580. So this has to be greater than or equal to 580. If it was less than, would you be able to buy the snowboard? No. Okay, we can solve that. So now this part here, they broke it up into two parts. They just want us to solve it. So this is the answer to the first part. And I think on the actual Regents exam, they'll have this in a bunch of space and then this in a bunch of space. But anyway. So what are we going to do, everybody, to solve this?
Subtract
Yep.
135 to get like
72W greater than or equal to, what is it? 445. And then finally what? Divide by 72. And we get W is greater than or equal to what? 6.18 weeks. Is that how long it's going to take her? Now, read the question carefully. What do they want us to determine? Number of full weeks.
7.
So we need 7 weeks. Okay? Was it too horrible, was it? No. Yeah. Well, just make sure probably the one part that might have thrown you guys was the saving 3/4 of her 96, but you get that, right? Right? It almost looked like it was easy enough. It would have been 96W plus 135, but she's not saving her full check, right? She probably has bills and she has to, buy her drugs and stuff and needs a little of that. And then save up, whatever's left after all the meth and crack and catnip and yeah. Okay. Sure.
What is that?
All right.
It's like somebody screaming at me.
Anyway, let's all, on our own, read over number 2 on your own. Strawberries are $1.60 a pound. Raspberries $1.75 a pound at $10. So she has $10. Can she spend more than $10?
No.
So the inequality will be a what?
Less
Less than or equal to, right? So which choice would it be, kids?
Either 2 or 4,
Either 2 or 4. Well, that's a greater than,
then 1, or
and
3.
4 is a greater than, and I think you just told me less than. Okay, so 1 and 3 narrows it down. They got the less than or equal to. So which one?
1.
Okay, so $1.60, X must be, oh yeah, strawberries and Y. So every pound of strawberries is $1.60 plus every pound of raspberries $1.75 less than or equal to $10. Simple enough. Now, there are, remember those ones we skipped a while back? We'll go on here. So what I want, just make a note here, so you don't get confused. Let's go to number, we're going to look at number 3 on page 95 and number 1 on page 111. So let's go back to page 95 real quick, everybody, in your book. So I have to fix this in the next iteration. Page 95. Number 3 was one of those ones that we skipped. So it should be this one here at the bottom of page 95. Should be pretty straightforward. But read that over on your own. Let's see what the answer is. So if you have to be greater than 42 inches tall, can you be 42 inches tall?
Yeah, no.
Because 42 is not greater than 42, right? It's equal to. So that tells you we're going to have, is it going to be a greater than or equal to sign for 42? Just greater than without the equal to, right? The way you read it? Okay. So given that, what choice will this be, guys? What's that again? Choice 2? Well,
I got 1.
just think about it. Wait, think of choice 2 this way. You see 42 here being greater than ultimately 57? Does that make sense? Right? What I tell you, with the and type, they all have to be what? Lowest number, the highest number with what? Nothing. Less than or greater than?
Has to be greater than 42.
Yeah, but I'm just talking in general with the and type of inequality. They have to be less thans all the way across, right? Okay, so which choice? Choice 4. So X is greater than
Has to be less than.
42, right? Or greater than or equal to 57. But wait a minute,
No, it has to be 1.
no more than, well this says more than 57, right? Well, which one?
1.
So X greater than 42 or less than 57.
It says and though, not or.
Yeah. You see this here, right here? So it has to be the and type, the conjunction, yes?
We want
It's got to be choice 1. Okay? All right, then what I say, page 111. We'll take a look at that real quick. Number 1. There we go, page 111, number 1. So we're going to read this, think about how to set up an inequality here, okay? Anybody thinking of a variable they'd like to use for this?
And Y.
Okay.
And U.
Adult and youth, instead of, X and Y, right? You could use X for that, doesn't, but again, it makes sense to use like a capital A for adult, right? But let me ask you this, though. Is there some question as to how many youth shirts will be bought? Do we need a variable for the youth shirts?
Yeah.
You do?
Because it's saying if you purchase a 45 youth size.
Okay, so wait a minute now. If A is the number of adult shirts you buy, and you let Y be the number of youth shirts that you buy, didn't they already tell us the number of youth shirts right here? So do we even need to include a variable for that? Right, see, they already told us how many they buy, right? But we do need A for the number of adult shirts they buy. All right, okay. You go get a drink? Okay. All right, so let's think about this then. So the adult shirts cost $6.25. So just give me an expression for that. If A is the number of adult shirts, how much will all of the adult shirts cost? $6.25 a piece. Okay, $6.25 times A, the number of adult shirts. Now we're also buying youth shirts, so we need to add to this, right? So plus, how many youth shirts are they buying? 45, and how much does each youth shirt cost, other Mr. Payne? $4.50. So what are we going to put here? Plus what?
202.
What did Mr. Payne? Plus $4.50? Okay, so they're only buying one of them? That's the cost for one youth shirt. What do we have to do to that $4.50? How many youth shirts are we buying? Okay. So it's going to be more than $4.50 because that's only for one. So what do we have to do to that $4.50? By, there you go. Multiply by 45. Okay. So does what I have there represent like the total cost of everything we're going to buy? And do we have a certain amount of money that we have to stay with, like a budget?
550.
$5.50, right? So let's think about this here. Ms. Chandler, what should I write next for this inequality? Knowing that this is what our costs are going to be, and $5.50 is what we have to spend. Less than, greater than. So we're going to need a less than or equal to or a greater than or equal to sign. Which one will it be? Because we have $5.50 available to spend on these t-shirts. So the cost of our t-shirts can be greater than what we have?
Oh, you want to
Less than or equal to, right? Okay, so less than or equal to $5.50. Okay, we get how to set that up? $6. So this side is our cost side, right? What all the shirts will cost us. And the right side is how much money we have. And we need the cost of the shirts here to be less than or equal to the amount of money we have, right? Each adult shirt costs $6.25, right? And each youth shirt is $4.50. But fortunately, they told us how many we're going to buy, 45 of them, right? So let's work through this. 6.25A plus, well, Mr. Payne, you told us that. What's 450 times 45? $202, you guys agree? No. 0.5, right? You got that? Okay. Well, don't forget to include that. 202.50. We'll leave it as 50, you know, because it's money. Might as well. Okay? Is less than or equal to, what happened there? Less than or equal to 550. All right. What's the matter? Okay. So you guys all finish this out right now on your own. Okay? I think you, at this point, know how to do these. Yeah? All right. So everyone finish this out. And let's figure out how many adult shirts we can buy. Okay. Somebody else get something different? Okay, shout it out.
55.
And you said 48? Let me ask you this, then. When you did this, you did this, right? I think I saw that.
38.
Amy, what'd you get when you did that subtraction? Oh, no, it should be, I think maybe you just put 500 in there, something like that.
Give this to Jackson tonight.
Sure. Try that again. Do 550 minus 202.50. you get 347.50. Get that now? All right, so now try it. Divide by 6.25. And you get, oh, you know, look what mistake did I make, kids? Huh?
It's not equal,
It is not. See, it's really easy to do. So less than or equal to, right? So we have A, the number of adult shirts less than or equal to, is it 55.6?
Yeah.
So one of them will be like a half shirt, I guess? I don't think that, so, wait a minute, 56?
you have to or you have to like take it down. Like,
56 would be greater than it, right? So it's going to be 55 adult shirts. Okay? And that is the last one we need to do. Does anybody have any questions on? Okay.